What's up, y'all? It's Congressman Jamal Bowman here with the homegirl Elise. Just want to let you know, as you know, once again, my colleagues are trying to ban TikTok, which is crazy. They're doing it because of your pressure, because of your organizing, because of your good work. 1 million emails sent to ban the Willow Project, 4 million emails sent to demand a ceasefire. Much more work to do as we head into these elections and beyond. Again, they're not trying to do anything to Facebook, even though China gets most of its information from Facebook. They're going after TikTok because they're going after young people. I'm staying with you. Elise obviously is a leader in the whole movement. We're working together to get this done.
Awesome. You said it all.
Peace.
The yeas are 352, the nays are 65. The bill is passed.
This is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
We are in a Cold War with China, and some of my colleagues want to ignore this fact. We have legislation before us that is 12 pages long. The bill is not a ban. It forces foreign adversaries, including Chinese communists, to divest.
Hey everyone, this is Van Silk right here on the Black Culture Network. A lot of things been going on today, especially in Congress. We all know that everybody's been talking about TikTok. I happen to like TikTok. To be honest with you, I just wish that they would have changed some of the things on the platform, what they do, what they allow. Because what they allow here on our platform of TikTok, excuse me while I fix this shirt, WrestleMania 50th anniversary hip hop, they don't allow it in China. Everything in China on TikTok is more educational. My grandkids are on TikTok. There's a lot of things that I hear from their phones on TikTok. No. So the House today passed a bill to ban TikTok. Now it has to go to the Senate. Chuck Schumer and the Democratic-run Senate who have the votes. It's up to them if they want to ban TikTok. Because Joe Biden said if they pass the bill, he will sign it. Now, if you're going to go after TikTok because they're a Chinese-owned company, you're watching their pockets, seeing how much money they're making and all this and all that, I think Instagram and Facebook should be treated the same way. I can look at TikTok and see that they have challenges and a lot of things on there, but I look at Instagram and I look at Facebook now. It's more of a site for prostitutes. Young girls coming up prostituting themselves. See, like TikTok guidelines in the U.S. is much better than the guidelines of Instagram and what Facebook is doing right now. And also, you can go on Twitter. They got pornography on it. So, what we need to look at right now is why the Republicans was going after TikTok. But here's some of the news report that came out today within the last hour talking about the ban on TikTok. And now look to Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and them all in the Senate to see where we go with this. And this is Black Culture Network. Please support the channel. Please understand I'm trying to give you informational news. And some people say, well, this ain't black. No, this is news. I'm just giving it to you on the Black Culture Network. This is Van the Man. I'll be back later. Y'all have a blessed day.
And the House has voted to pass a bipartisan bill that could lead to a nationwide ban of TikTok.
On this vote, the yeas are 352, the nays are 65. One present, 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed. And without the objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Okay.
Lawmakers have been raising concerns about TikTok's Chinese parent company, ByteDance, warning that the app could give the Chinese government access to the data of millions of Americans, including browsing history and location. ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang joins me now, along with ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill, ABC's Elizabeth Schulze, and ABC News contributor, Google Tech Policy Fellow Mike Muse. Jay, this bill now heads to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain. What are you hearing from lawmakers about that?
Well, look, this was a very significant bipartisan vote on the House floor, 352 yay votes. That puts a lot of pressure on the Senate and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to take some kind of action on this bill because of how big that margin was. And we just saw moments ago after this bill passed, two pretty significant members of the Senate, the chair and vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner and Marco Rubio, formally endorse this legislation. So that carries a lot of weight when you talk about trying to force Chuck Schumer, or at least push Chuck Schumer, to put this bill on the floor for a vote. Again, what's in this legislation, just to be clear, is it would seek to force a sale of TikTok from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, within 6 months if the legislation becomes law. And only if that sale does not occur could TikTok then be banned on app stores and on web hosting services and things of that nature. So TikTok is calling this legislation a ban. Champions of this legislation, again, Republicans and Democrats alike, are saying that this is a forced sale, and only if ByteDance doesn't act, if this becomes law, could the app be banned.
So, Elizabeth, what's the likelihood here that ByteDance does sell?
Well, and this is going to be the question is, A, does it pass the Senate? Does this legislation get through Congress ultimately? And then B, can this get through the legal hurdles to get for China to allow the sale to happen? That's an outstanding question. And then what would that actually look like, Diane? We haven't really seen this kind of a sale that's been forced from the U.S. In the past, there have been instances where the government has said a Chinese company needs to cut ties, but that's been a complete sale of the company. What we're talking about here is really just the U.S. business splitting off from the Chinese owner, ByteDance. And that raises a whole host of questions. What the law itself would look like if it does go into effect is that the app would no longer be available on the App Store or on Google Play. Eventually, that would make it impossible for users to use. You couldn't keep updating the app like you would need to, and it wouldn't be available on websites. But this is undoubtedly going to raise some questions about free speech. We have seen the small amount of lawmakers who voted against it today say this has the First Amendment questions that have been raised. We've seen that already raised in courts. So questions about what happens in Congress and then what happens from there in the legal process, too.
And Selena, President Biden's campaign joined TikTok last month. But then on Friday, he said he would sign a bill to ban TikTok if it did pass. How is the White House addressing what appears to be some mixed messaging there?
Yeah, Diane, I mean, the White House really struggles to answer that question. Just yesterday, I said, if the president's so concerned about the national security risks, why is his campaign posting on it? But look, the White House also trying to frame this, as you heard what Jay and Elizabeth say, saying it's not an outright ban. It would force a sale. But the reality is it would face a lot of legal challenges if it got through the Senate, was signed by the president. And China would likely block it because it would need the Chinese government's approval. And Diane, we've been in this exact place before throughout the years where they've tried to force a sale on TikTok, and it just didn't work. But after that 2020 attempt from Donald Trump to get it banned, China actually changed its regulations so that it actually bars the export of certain technologies, including technologies like the algorithm that underpins TikTok. So the question of where it goes from here could be a long road ahead. And Diane, to set this into context, this is really just the latest shoe to drop in the broader U.S.-China technology Cold War, the effort to try and split off sensitive technologies from each other. The U.S. has banned giant Huawei telecommunications firm from the United States, but to move into the arena of apps and software behind export controls on chips and telecommunications, that would have a sweeping effect because there are many Chinese companies that are influential in the software space in the United States.
So, Mike, what are you watching for as this bill now heads to the Senate?
So many things, but Diane, this is a dream team panel. I'm so excited for this conversation. In particular, I want to give attribution to Selena's excellent reporting. She mentioned in our other break something that really underscores the frustration that I have with this bill and with this Congress. She mentioned the Chinese app Temu and Shein. Temu was one of the largest advertisers for commercials during the Super Bowl that averaged over 120 million views. Temu had an ad in almost every single quarter of it, to which it became a trending topic on social media of how much money Temu has to keep marketing to us. Temu is a marketplace-based app where lots of U.S. customers go on and buy products. And when they're buying the products, they're putting our credit card information down, their home address, telephone numbers, our whereabouts. And it's also, too, the algorithm is reading our consumer pattern behaviors. And there's already so much apps in that Chinese owned that can get so much access to our data, which underscores the performative nature of Congress that makes Americans so frustrated that Congress isn't doing the difficult task of understanding the nuance of how these social media platforms actually work. And that's a challenge because the technology is moving so fast that is a complete in opposition to how Congress works at a very slow pace. So Congress is going to have to change its operational process in order to keep up with the pace of innovation and technology to really create legislations that address the issues. But that is the hard work and not performative nature.
All right, Selena Wang, Jay O'Brien, Elizabeth Schulze, Mike Muse, thank you.